Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Badfish and welcome back to another episode of Gone Gaming. We are of course back in the beautiful island city of Mauna Key. If you're new to my channel, Mauna Key is my ongoing Cities Skylines series, basically based off like Pacific Islands. I guess we're going with like a Hawaii flair. But yeah, welcome. So today guys, what we're gonna be doing is building out a bit of a population center, like our first real big population center here in Mauna Key. So I really hope you guys enjoy it. I did decide to start out with a little highway intersection action because if the Cities Skylines Reddit is anything to go by, you guys love those things. So if you enjoy the video here today, definitely leave a thumbs up down below. That helps me grow the channel a ton, and we're getting close to 1,000 subs, so I really appreciate that support, guys. You know I do. And also leave a comment. Let me know what kind of things you want to see in Mauna Key in the future. And finally, if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I do a bunch of cool builds and city skylines and different city builders here on the channel, and I'd really appreciate you sticking around to see some more. But I'm gonna let you guys enjoy a little bit of the time-lapse build here as I'm kind of laying out the road network here, and then we're gonna jump into making some suburbs. And as the video goes on, I will jump in just to kind of talk a little bit about what I'm doing, what my process is, and go from there. So I will check in with you guys in a bit. So if you can't tell, for the suburbs, I really tried to go with like a super planned out, super like cookie cutter development kind of suburb. I've been seeing a lot of those on like the City Skylines Reddit and the Discord and things, and I've really enjoyed how they look. You know, everything's fenced in. They're all kind of put into different plots. I did it with cul-de-sacs instead of just doing grids, just because I didn't want everything to be squares. I wanted some funky angles in there and things like that. And honestly, the thing with this kind of build is it looks pretty ugly until you get everything in there, right? Like right now you're just seeing me kind of throw down some random props. So I put like some pools and grills and people in back of some of these things. And then now I'm gonna go and start kind of landscaping things in, which was you know, a bit of fun in this one. I'm really trying to capture that jungle vibe, so I'm using a ton of undergrowth, ton of different trees and stuff. It kills my frame rate, but it looks beautiful, so I'm into it. But yeah, this kind of build, you really need to kind of just wait it out while you're building it and like not delete things and wait for you to fill everything out, because it looks so much better once you do. And I think that's kind of what I learned while I was doing this. But yeah, wanted to go with that super planned out suburb look as we kind of shift into the Midtown and then the downtown as we kind of have the gradient of buildings going. So this is going to be the big suburb section of this town. We might put another suburb in somewhere. Can't say it will be as planned out as this one. I think the developers got a little tired, so we'll see. But I think it came out pretty good. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to add a couple more details to this later on in the video. Basically, just put a walkway down to the beach on some of these things that are near the ocean. And, you know, I did do a little bit more detailing just in the backyards and stuff that I don't do on camera. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this kind of suburb. I think it's interesting. And I'll check in with you in a little bit. Alright, so now we're going to move on to what is basically going to be kind of the midtown of the city. So if you haven't seen me build cities before, I typically like to kind of keep my buildings in a gradient. I don't like to jump dramatically from suburbs to downtown. I've seen people do that. I like to have it go, here's a suburb, here's a little bit of midtown, here's some downtown. So that's kind of what we're building out here is the midtown. It's basically just going to be like condos. We're going to have, you know, a couple hotels, you know, just commercial stuff, some low density commercial. And then as we kind of move further down, I guess to the north of the map it would technically be, we're gonna start adding some bigger and taller skyscrapers and things like that. But for the midtown, you know, just doing some simple detailing, putting a little gas station down, a couple interesting little you know, like I put like an ice cream shop because we're in the middle of a tropical island. You need some ice cream sometimes to cool down. I like these little kind of tropical condos right here. Basically every building that I picked up, I tried to find something that had kind of like a California vibe or a Hawaii vibe or, you know, tropical, beachy kind of stuff like that. In a little bit, you're going to see me. I picked up this thing called Inn on the Gulf, which we make a really cool like hotel complex in this town. But as far as the midtown goes, just trying to keep it, you know, pretty easy, pretty simple with the buildings, nothing crazy. And we'll do a little bit of, you know, kind of just cheap and easy detailing on some of these things. So using these non-conforming curves by King Lino has been a godsend. Being able to just kind of box things in and delineate where lots are has been great. I think that's a big thing with detailing in City Skylines. You really want to make sure you can delineate your lots and things like that. And another big thing is add in those parking lots, right? So I'm going to detail up this a little bit. I'm going to add the kind of like a little entryway into the condos and do some more commercial stuff. And then we'll kind of start jumping into a little bit of the build by the coastline. And I'll see you guys there. So we're going to start our coastal build here in just a second, but I did want to just touch upon this really cool building. So this is actually a movie theater. I picked it up, I've used it before, but I just think it's a super interesting building architecturally. It's got that really cool like cylinder dome kind of deal on the left there and that cool overhang. It is a little barren on the walls and stuff, so I do just add some ads as far as like movie ads and things like that, just to freshen it up a little bit, and again do some simple detailing. And then of course we'll just add a little walkway right in the front in just a second using curbs and things like that. Again, going back to the curbs real quick, because you're going to see me put them down. I know it's a little repetitive, kind of putting them down over and over again, but what I find is if you keep doing it and you keep adding it into your cities and using, trees that are roughly the same, it can really help theme your city. It can really help when you kind of scroll out and look at the city as a whole to see, like, I'm using palm trees, for example, as I did in San Pedro. I talked about this as well. Is it really just helps it kind of tie everything together, in my opinion. So I know it's a little repetitive to watch, but I do think it's an important exercise to practice as far as detailing goes. So we're going to finish this guy up, and then we're going to jump into building out a couple hotels that I think came out really cool. One of them you'll see in just a second is this absolutely massive Sheraton that I have no idea where it is in real life, but you'll see it in just a sec. I really want to stop there and check it out because it's an awesome building. And then we're going to add in that Inn on the Gulf that I spoke about earlier. But right now, again, just adding some of those mid-rise condos and things to, again, just kind of flesh out that, shift that gradient from suburb to downtown. So I will check in with you guys when we start building out the inn, because I think there's a lot to talk about there. But I hope you've been enjoying the build so far. Again, if you have been, leave that thumbs up. Cool. Alright, it's in time, baby. I've been hyping this up too much in this build. Hopefully it doesn't disappoint. So we are going to build out this cool thing called Inn on the Gulf here. You can find it on the workshop under Inn on the Gulf. And it's a cool kind of... It's not as fancy pants as the different hotels and stuff I used in the last video when I built out the casino island. If you haven't seen that yet, you can check it out in the top right. Anyway, it's not as fancy, it kind of looks like just like a random motel almost that, it's an inn. It's an inn that you go stay in. It honestly looks like a place that I've stayed in when I visited Florida as a kid. So maybe it's a little nostalgic for me. But my idea is this is kind of your family resort, right? So we got the casinos on the islands and things like that. This is where the families hang out. This is where people come and travel when they got small children and, want to be able to enjoy some cool sunshine and some cool stuff in the city. So basically we got the main buildings there. That one in the back on the left that you're seeing right now, that is actually a restaurant, which I thought was a pretty cool addition. So we'll add some stuff onto that. And then we got these cool like cabanas and then the little public restrooms and stuff. So my idea is I wanted to make sure there was a lot of things to do in this area. So you're going to see me add a bunch of amenities in a little bit. I will add a swimming pool. I will add tennis courts. I obviously have the beach area there, and we're going to add a little bit to the restaurant. But I wanted this to kind of be like the type of place, if you go stay there, you don't really have to leave if you don't want to. You can do anything you want there. You can go to the beach, go to the pool, hang out. And then obviously if you do leave, there's still the whole city to, hang out and do stuff in. Which, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this later. I'm actually recording this part after I record the live play. I think I might have mentioned in the live play, but I don't have a name for this city yet. So if you guys have any good kind of like, Hawaiian, Pacific, Island, I don't know, just names that fit this theme for a little city like this, let me know. Maybe the one with the most likes in the comments can get the naming rights or something. I'm fine with that. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any name ideas for the city. But I'm going to let you enjoy me doing some detailing on the inn here, and I will jump back in when I think there's something to talk about. Cool. So real quick, I do apologize, guys. I am going to cheat on my detailing a little bit here. I've been doing this quite a few times. I'm just copy and pasting my beaches because they all end up pretty much looking the same because it's the same props and I don't want to build them every single time. So I might be a cop out there. I apologize if you think so. And now we're just going to kind of finish up the grounds of this place here, this inn. and kind of do a little more landscaping and stuff to make it look a little more pretty. Obviously, where the beach kind of runs down, I really want to make sure that has some more vegetation because right now it looks very bland. But before that, I am just adding a little outdoor eating seating area for that restaurant on the side here. Again, cheap and easy way to do detail. Might not be the fanciest thing up close, but it does add a lot when you scroll out, and again, just adds to the footprint of the building, makes it a little more interesting, right? And we'll just add, again, little walkways and greenery pieces. Sometimes I do like using still the prop curbs just because they're a little more square. They don't have the rounded ends like the network curbs do. I don't know, I just like the square look sometimes, and it's nice to switch it up, I guess. So just that little walkway there, add some trees in, and basically just gonna put down vegetation and again do the non-conforming curbs just to make this look a little more interesting. So I will let you guys enjoy that. As far as the landscaping goes, it is gonna again be a bunch of natural landscaping, so there is gonna be a bunch of undergrowth, bunch of trees, and a bunch of things like that. And then from here, we're going to jump into the last bit of detailing here today, where we're just going to add a little bit more to the the midtown of the city. We haven't even really built out the downtown yet. Just put some more details on those, and then we'll jump into the live play. So enjoy, guys. So like I said, our last bit of detailing here is mainly just going to be adding more things to the Midtown, just to make it look a little more uniform and a little more interesting. Again, like when you're working with any kind of mid-rise building, high-rise building, or skyscraper, I find the best way to do detailing with them is just to like mess up their actual building footprint. Like a lot of them are just, you know, the building, the square building itself and no footprint around it. So, you know, I find if I just do like the stuff I'm doing now, where I'm just adding curbs or seating areas and stuff and just mess up that blueprint a little bit to where, you know, maybe the footprint of the building is now in a skew shape, you know, just something that's not square, not just hugging the road. And it helps out a lot. So we're gonna finish up just detailing this little Sheraton guy here. Again, nothing too fancy, just adding the trees around it and things like that. And now we will jump into more of that Midtown detailing. So we're gonna start by putting down these planters here. So these are illuminated planters. I believe they're by King Leno. If they're not, I apologize to the content creator. But anyway, they're called illuminated planters on the workshop. I really like them just to kind of line streets with, add a little bit more sidewalk detailing that's not just ads or bus stops and things like that. And again, adds to the uniformity of the city and makes it just kind of pop a little bit more. But I think it's cool. You know, I think when I think of cities and stuff too, you know, you'll always have the sidewalks broken up by some vegetation and things like that. But I thought it was just a cool little addition to have on this part of this city here. And again, just adds a little bit more to the blueprint of each of these buildings as well. So we'll finish by wrapping that on around here and popping in the last couple of bits of trees. And then we are just going to go to some of these bigger buildings that you're kind of seeing me go past here that don't have a lot of detail on them. And like I said, we're going to mess up those blueprints. So the first one that I kind of identified to work on is going to be this big square building here. As you can see, it's just square. There's nothing coming out the front. So pushed it back a little bit from the road, and we're just going to do like a little walkway up to it / seating area, and then pop in a little parking area on it as well. So I think that, you know, again, just messing up those blueprints, trying to make things look a little bit different, you know, does help it pop and does help it, you know, look more like a real living, breathing city, which at least for me is kind of what I'm trying to go for. Like, I'm not trying to make the most realistic cities. I'm not here using, you know, procedural objects and, you know, going to the real nitty gritty, but I just want, you know, a good amount of detail and, you know, to make them look nice. And I think doing little bits of detailing like this and continuously doing them adds a lot to the entire product once you're finished, which, you know, hopefully you guys will see in the live play. But that is just about going to do it for the build itself. So we are going to jump into that live play section to talk about things on a little bit of a slower format than the time lapse, and then we'll have some cinematic shots. But if you guys have been enjoying the video, please do leave that like. I really appreciate it. And if you're new, please subscribe if you've been enjoying, if you've been watching this far. I'd really appreciate that too. But I will see you guys on the live play. Enjoy the rest of the build. Hey everybody, welcome to the Liveplay section for today's build. Thanks for watching this far. Remember, if you have been enjoying the video, leave a like down below. But welcome to the start of our little city here that we're starting in Mauna Key. Don't have a name for it yet, so if you got a good name for a city on an island, let me know in the comments down below. But anyway, we'll just jump into it. I'll show you guys kind of what I did here. So to start out, we're just kind of looking at this little bit of waterfront we started. I am going to do more detailing around these keys eventually and maybe put some piers and stuff in. That might be the next episode. I don't know. But I really like these wave buildings. I think they make it really interesting to look at with the waterfront and everything. And they're just kind of a fun, unique little bit of build, I think, on this kind of curve right here. So we'll start with the first thing I built, which is this suburb area over here. This was a pain in the butt just getting all the fences in, but I'm using these. I think the pack was actually just called boring houses on the workshop. So we're using those, just kind of spreading them through. I put some pools and like random little props on certain things and trees in some of them just to kind of change up some of it. But really, it's just these little cul-de-sacs. I've seen a lot of people on Reddit and things like that doing like really planned out suburbs, and I liked the way they looked. And I thought it would fit kind of, at least somewhat interestingly in this part of Mauna Key. So that's our suburb there. On the end of some of these suburb cul-de-sacs that were near the ocean, I just made like these pathways for people to go use the beach right here on this like inlet thing. Moving over here, we got our first bit of kind of downtown commercial. So I didn't want to, let me change the light real quick first. I didn't want to fully have it go straight to like skyscrapers and things like that. I wanted to kind of have a Midtown look to this area right here. So if you look at it, the buildings aren't gigantic, but they are definitely like at least mid-rise building, if low rise to mid-rise. And the commercial, I kept it pretty simple. So we just got like a gas station right here that I kind of wrapped around. Got this cool little ice cream shop, a diner. Over here we just have like some regular commercial stuff with a little bit of detailing in the back of them. Like I put just some cars and parking and trash areas and things like that. Got these kind of cool little condos here that I did some cool detailing on. So we added in like this little, let me change the light again because I still don't feel like it's working great. So we got this little statue here with all these flowers and things. We have, kind of going through the entire city, different things with palm trees and stuff. I think it just helps tie it together really nice. Got this awesome movie theater here that I wrapped around with just different ads and things like that. I think that actually turned out looking pretty cool. I like having the ads just wrapping around the entire thing. That looks cool at night too because those all light up. So we got that with the palm trees. Don't really know what's going to go down here yet. I'm still trying to plan what I want to do with this kind of coastline right here. But again, we just have some more like mid-rise buildings, some more just apartments and things like that. Got this cool gigantic Sheridan building right here that I did just some simple detailing on, really just wrapped it around with trees and things like that. But I really just like that building as kind of like a centerpiece of the skyline too. Obviously it's not tall, but it's so wide that you can see it just from, even looking over here, you can still see it behind everything. I just like the look of it. Then going over here as we wrap around, just some more mid-rise kind of apartment buildings. This is like a office business center that I just put a little, walkway up to. Again, just using planters and stuff around with palm trees to kind of tie things together. As we go through over here, we have another nice big hotel. Then down here we have, again, just another little place with some detailing. So this is just a little statue with some flowers and stuff around it. I thought that came out pretty nice. And then my favorite part of this build, and probably the most detailed part, is going to be right over here, which is our inn on the bay. Or on the Gulf, I forget exactly. I think if I scroll in, it'll say right here. I can't read that, so never mind. I think it's in on the Gulf. But anyway, this is our cool little bayside inn right here. It's got this nice restaurant over here that I did some simple detailing on, just adding a little more outdoor seating. Could probably add more back here too if I wanted to. Got these nice tennis courts that I use the industrial fences to have those look like they're actually fenced in, as I'm noticing this tree is bleeding through. So let's get rid of him. Great. So we got the tennis courts, and then I used two of the end buildings and kind of wrapped them around to make a bigger structure. And right in the middle, we put this nice little pool area with some seating for people to go eat and grill and things like that. I think that ended up looking really good. Used kind of the pavilion as an entrance into the pool area, into the walkways and things like that. And then finally, wrapping around here, we have bathrooms and changing areas for people going to the beach, and all of these cool little pergolas and things for people to hang out, and so all these little cabanas. And finally, of course, we have the beach itself with a bunch of beachgoers and stuff like that. Again, I just copy and pasted from a beach I did earlier. No point in doing that, 15 different times. But yeah, that is the build today. So I really enjoyed this one. I think it's a good start to our little city here. I have a couple of ideas of where I want to go next with it, but I would love to hear from all of you and see what kind of builds you'd like to see. I'll just kind of show you the map a little bit. So we still have this area of coast over here that I want to do something with. Got a whole bunch of area over here to build in and kind of stretch it on down. I don't know if it'll go all the way down here. We might just connect it into Kona over here and just kind of have different exits on the highway. We'll see where it goes. But this is going to be like our first main city. We still got this island that looks exactly like a whale, I'm noticing. I don't know if that's on purpose, but that looks exactly like a whale. Okay, anyway. So we got that little island to work with too. So we got a lot of area here. So think about, some of the things you guys would like to see me try to build. I can definitely take some of those into account. I love hearing from you guys anyway. And definitely let me know what you thought of the build. And as always, guys, if you did enjoy the video, definitely leave a like down below. Really helps me grow the channel. And, we're getting closer and closer to 1,000 subs, which would be awesome to hit that mark. So if you did like it, leave that like down below. If you've been watching my videos for a while, leave a comment too. Let me know how you've been doing and, what you've been enjoying in the videos and things like that. But that is going to do it for me here today, guys. So subscribe if you're new. Forgot that one. But enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.